Lee, thanks for joining us. Let's just reflect a little bit. Obviously, nobody was purring over last weekend, and you were honest in your summing up of how it all went wrong for you, unfortunately, at Barrow. But what sort of response have you found?
Well, we've up to yet, as you'd imagine, the players have responded and communicated really well. We went through the whole game, clipped up, obviously the ball out of play, and we took out. But we went through it all, and just I think it's important that we highlight the areas that we looked like we were lacking on Saturday. Plenty of the football, plenty of opportunities to produce more in their final third, and really getting some of the thoughts of the players. They were good enough. We've got to take a little bit more ownership in terms of what we're doing and trying to create on the in the game. You come up with a game plan. And what they did, they did that every time we got the football. They were looking for them types of patterns or them ways to get overloads wide, particularly from switches of play, if that's a diagonal or working the ball to the other side. So a really good period of time together. A lot of questions answered for me, which is good. But the players are confident. We do a lot of, obviously now more stats based. With it, the XG's obviously gone down a little bit, but in terms of getting where we need to on the pitch, we're still getting in them areas. And then it's just what we've done in training has reiterated what we're after the players and what they can bring, and hopefully producing some magic and some freedom in and around that final third.
You want to halt that trend, don't you? Because it was a lovely feeling at the start of the season. I know you weren't getting carried away, but you were winning football matches. Unfortunately, at the moment, you're not winning football matches.
Yeah, and you obviously want to win games, don't you? And sometimes you want a scrappy 1-0, which we've not managed to get yet. If we'd have scored another goal against Barnet, you could have said that might have been a scrappy win, but we didn't, because we're obviously talking, and when you look at stats, I'm saying, but it's a lot of if, buts and maybes. That's what you get when stats are involved, a lot of if, buts and maybes. But we want to get back on track as quickly as possible, and what we want to do is we want to alter the performance going forward more than anything. So look that threat again, and that freedom for the players higher up the pitch. We'll have a look at certain things this afternoon with what we do out on the grass. But like I say, overall a positive reaction from the players, which you would expect. I wouldn't have thought they'd be short on confidence after the recent spell. Obviously you put Gillingham into that as well, even though it was a really good performance. You put that into it, but ultimately it was a loss. And we want to try and move away from that, and we've got a tough test coming Saturday.
Obviously we spoke quite a bit when that transfer window was working, and now you've got a lot of selection options at your disposal. He's getting hammered a little bit, the Manchester United manager, for sticking to his principles of how he wants to play and who he wants to pick. Is it something that you've discussed with your staff? So is it time to freshen things up a little bit, personnel and system wise?
We're always speaking about what we can do to alter the team. I don't think it's a system thing. It's not like we're going light in midfield and people are playing through us, and you look at the goals that we've conceded, the single goals, and if we eradicate them errors individual, it's not a massive collective unit thing. Things could look a lot different if we did do that. But the players that we brought in, particularly the lads we brought in late, Jay played some more minutes on Monday for the under-21s. We still feel when you watch him, there's a little bit of work to be done. He'll be in contention to be in and around it on Saturday. Dion's probably the most ready out the players, them two that we brought in late, to be pushing for a start. But we're always looking to freshen things up. We're always looking at where the players are, the heat map of what the players are doing, where they're producing their work. It didn't quite work for Marshy off the left, did it? On Saturday, he was too far away from the goal at times. But we're always looking at that, Graham, and change of shape is something we'll be working on today. We're looking at two up front. So we're always looking at them things, but I don't think it's a big drastic change in the shape in terms of what's happening to go to a three at the back or whatever it may be. I think it might be just maybe moving one or two players around.
Well, you've got your first opportunity to improve your league position come Saturday lunchtime. You've got the early kick-off game.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Say we know what we've got to look like and what we've been looking like in some of the games. the home fans will be expecting a positive response after what they've seen in the last 2 games in terms of results. So we've got to embrace that. We've got to make sure we're up for the challenge, we're ready for it, focused on what we've got to do. Home games, you want to take as much advantage as you can. They'll bring a good crowd as well, so it should be a good atmosphere. I know it's an early kick-off, but if you can get into the ground early to create that atmosphere for the players when they're going out to warm up, it'd be something that we'd like to do. With that, to just make it feel more. When it's a 3 o'clock kick-off, people get in that little bit earlier. When it's 12:30, they come in last minute type of thing, so you go into an empty stadium. But we want to create that atmosphere. The players, it'll be a message, we want to create that atmosphere by doing the things while on the pitch, competing for your duels, being exciting when you get on the football, to create a really good atmosphere at home.
I think you're exactly how your supporters are thinking. I think your management team is exactly the same as what the fans want. The fans want the better football played and on the front foot, and there's no difference from what you're hoping for.
Yeah, and look, I think we have been on the front foot. We have, our ground duels have gone up again, etc. Aerial duels, second phase duels have gone up again. With that, I think the first 4 in the league, we were first, second, third, fourth in a lot of them duels, and that's got up. We have been on the front foot. Like I say, errors have made things look a little bit different, because then when you're defending or trying to claw your way back into a game against Barrow on Saturday, really working hard to stop you, every man behind the football. They didn't have to open up, so we couldn't create any spaces. So I think we've got to stop them individual mistakes, and just have a bit more clarity with your decision making when the time comes when you're involved in it. But that's what we want. We want front foot football. We're going to be open at times. I said that at the start of the season. Don't mind a basketball game if that's what it looks like. But we've got to work hard to make sure we get our better players, our creative players in the areas we need them to be, to go and enjoy themselves.
Before we look a bit more at Notts County, can you bring us up to date with how the injured players are? The likes of Jack Lancaster back in the squad, and the Connor Thomas back in the squad, and your long-termers as well. How things progressing? Yeah,
so the clubs, the players are looking relatively healthy in terms of Jack, CT looking well. Done some bits this week already with the squad. Tabs is obviously a long-term injury. He's walking around really well, obviously trying to work as hard as he can to get somewhere near. Shiloh, we are in the process of speaking to someone. He's just got a little problem. He's feeling something in his leg, which is, I think, is going to be expected. So we're speaking to the specialist who dealt with him the second time round to get his opinion, and hopefully we'll get that today. Omar's been doing some work out on the grass. He's been integrated back into the training sessions. So fitness-wise, Jack Powell's struggling a little bit with a groin. We went for an ultrasound yesterday. It's not really showing any real problems. He's been carrying that for a little bit, so we want to just try and settle that down to get him in a position. You look at his performance against Fleetwood. We want more of them performances. So we've got to look after him in terms of getting him there. But relatively healthy, just the bumps and bruises as you expect.
T-Bone, where's he?
Yeah, Adrian's going to go out on loan. We feel he needs some football. He's in a position where we've got a lot of options in that area, and he needs some football. So we've agreed a loan. So we're just waiting for that to be finalised, and he'll go out and play some football for a month, and then we'll reassess it from there.
When you look at Notts County, they're a bit similar to how things are with yourselves and quite a lot of other clubs. There's that inconsistency in their results. I know they had a great result last weekend, but before all that, they were on a bit of a sticky run. Yeah,
I think for a lot of clubs that have been fancied in the league, I think that's a common theme. Someone will win a game. You look at the results at the weekend, 2 in particular come to mind with teams losing, and I think it's just over the next 5-6 games trying to even things out and get that little bit of consistency, because it is, obviously Gillingham are doing really well. They've taken that form on from last year, 20 games or something, as we found a hard nut to crack against them who's sitting top of the league. But Notts County changed things a little bit in terms of their approach, how they did it. Pato's gone in, super guy, know him well, a good guy. It looks like he's beginning now to develop for them. we'll do our homework on what they can bring, but we've also got to come up with the solutions to be able to do better in the areas we want to.
I suppose their strength is the too many strikers. They've got two good strikers. Dennis was the player of the month, and Jatta, is strong and can score goals. You've got to be aware of that.
Absolutely, yeah. They can either do it with 2 10s playing it in behind, like they did do on Saturday against Crawley, or they'll do it with 2 centre forwards and one off them. I think Dennis was injured at the weekend, but we expect him to be back for Saturday. Like I say, 2 good set forwards, but we've got to cope with it and concentrate on what we need to do.